Go
Oh,
live.
there you go.
Oh, I did it.
You
Hi,
did.
everybody. Happy anniversary.
Happy
Yay.
15 years, Podfeet.
Happy 15 years back to you and to everybody, to
Okay,
the community.
I'm going to come and join you for a sec.
Are you? Well, that would be lovely. Here he comes. This is very exciting. Is it to get rid of all the cats?
That's it. We got too much cat.
We got a lot of cat in here tonight. More cat than usual. Ah, this is important stuff.
All right.
Don't shoot my eye out.
No.
That would make for a bad episode here.
That would. The cats seem very interested.
Oh, wait till you shoot that off.
Yeah, they're going to love that.
Oh, Steve, bring it down here so they can see it go.
Okay.
Don't shoot my eye out.
I'm pointing away. Okay,
I
right.
don't trust you. Okay, he can't get the cork out.
Okay.
Here it comes. Ah! It's too exciting. Almost. No! There we go. Okay, don't pour it in my lap here. Oh, stop.
I've done this before.
Stop. Can you hear it? Hear the bubbles?
A little bit
Oh,
more.
right above my keyboard. Oh, you're scaring me. It's so close to me. All right, everybody, raise your glasses high. Are you in the picture there, dear?
Ah, congratulations on 15 fantastic years.
Thank you, sweetie.
It's been great.
Congratulations, everybody.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
All right. So, if nothing else, I'm sure we should do a roll call. I see Brett and Dave and Jason and Steven and Mike Price and Rick and Sandy and Alistair. And in the sidebar, I don't think Nick is really here, but maybe. Is Jill here? No, she's playing Minecraft. Dorothy and Marianne, of all people, who is not listening, so I can say anything I want. And I see Joe and John. And let's see, did I say hi to Rick already? Said hi to Rick already. And Troy is here. Yay. And Frank. And we already said hi to Alistair. There we go. The gang's all here.
Excellent.
Well, we have a lot of content today. And by a lot, I mean a lot. If I don't talk and I don't include security bits, it's 44 minutes. So we should probably get started. Let me do a little mic check here. See if I've got my mic set up properly here. Input Al's mic. All right, playback.
Playback will be important tonight, so we should do a test.
I think it probably should be. Yeah, it should be there. All right. All right, let me do it. Okay. And there, the automatic gain control just kicked in. I just saw it. That was interesting. Or maybe not. Maybe not. All right. Let's see. Let me do a little test recording here. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. That was loud. All right, here goes the playback.
No playback.
All right. I got 2 thumbs up from Rick.
No
Wasn't
playback
that on playback?
on Mimo.
No playback. Oh, Mimo, sorry. But did the live chat room hear it? Oh, is Kevin here? Kirshen's here.
Kirshen.
Woohoo! Okay, no
Welcome.
playback anywhere. Let me set that correctly then. Let's see. Input. Audio input. It should be, that's what over there. And let's fix it over here. You would wonder why I don't have this right when we start. It's because I use Discord to record for Chit Chat, and I use a totally different setup. So, all right, let's try this one more time. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com.
There you go.
All right, why is that coming in so loud? That's odd. I've got my...
Discord, you heard that playback, right? Kevin, Frank, Troy. I missed a lot of folks who came in. I don't hear you now, Allison. No audio from you in Mimo.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay.
And you hear in the
Okay.
everyone in the chat room can hear playback and Steve and Allison live, right?
Yes. I got lost on YouTube. That's because I got lost on Mimo Live because I changed my audio output, which affected everything without a refresh, apparently. So it's out
All
of
right.
control.
People are still
Okay.
coming in. Did you do a full roll call already?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Okay.
I did. If they're after the Elliot. Elliot's here.
Wow.
Been here in a while. Oh, Norbert's here. They are still sneaking in.
Wow.
And I'm gonna give oh, Jill might actually be here now. She was playing Minecraft. Let's see, anybody else show up in the sidebar? All right.
Is Nick here?
Okay. I don't think so.
Okay.
Looks like it, but I don't
It looks
think
like
so.
Joe might be here.
Yes, I already said Joe. You're
Okay.
redoing roll call, sweetie.
Well,
I'm in charge of roll call.
I just wasn't
Okay.
listening.
I'm gonna mute Steve. Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, May 17th, 2020, and this is show number 784, and it's also the 15-year anniversary of the NosillaCast. That's 784 NosillaCast episodes, 638 chit chats across various ponds, including 37 terminals tamed and 96 programmings by stealth since I first picked up a microphone 15 years ago this week. That's a lot of writing and talking, I'm not going to lie. Well, I'm going to be playing all of the wonderful recordings people have sent in, and then we'll have a session of security bits with Bart after that. But first, this installment of. Nope. Okay, well, I can do a chapter. Chapter marks are going to be the bane of me because I realized I should probably do. Should I do a chapter mark for each person?
Yes, I think you should.
Oh, did you guys notice our hats? Did we talk about our hats? Aren't they cool?
Is there any significance to that? I'm not sure.
I don't know. All right. Of security bits with Bart after that. All right. There we go. This week, Chit Chat Across the Pond is another Programming by Stealth, and it's a solution show all about the clock assignment from Programming by Stealth number 92. Now, Bart's been really busy this week designing an entirely new distance learning final exam system for the university where he works. So he asked if I would take on half of the content by presenting my solution to the clock challenge. I've had an absolute blast on this assignment to create a world clock, so I gladly accepted. In this episode, I walk through my approach and some of the challenges I met along the way, and then Bart compliments mine by talking about a few things he did quite differently. We both had a great time, and I think Bart actually learned something from me at one point. You can, of course, find Bart's fabulous show notes over at pbs.bartificer.net, link in the show notes. Okay, you are not muted. That was the giantest sniff I ever heard in my whole life. No, is what I heard. Really? I am only hearing you once. I believe I am hearing you from Mimo. Yes, I have.
Now my
Wait a minute.
audio
Wait a
should
minute.
be
Wait a minute.
live.
Hang on. Hang on. No, I am not off here. Okay, talk to me.
Okay, this is me live.
I do not hear you.
Good. I just muted
I
it.
do not hear you.
Now? You don't hear me
I still don't hear you.
now? Okay.
Is anybody here? Okay, you didn't hear a sniff either. Okay, that's good. So Steve, if I can't hear you,
I am talking now, and my voice is coming through Mimo Live.
I don't know what to do because I don't hear you. If I don't listen to you in Discord, I don't hear you at all. Whoa. I'm max headroom glitching right there. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Why don't you do a refresh, or I'll refresh for.
Okay, I think he's saying refresh something, so I'll refresh. And talk
now?
to me.
You hear me now?
Nope, I do not have audio from you. Got some max headroom there. Yeah. Seems okay now. The video looks okay. But I do not hear Steve through Mimo Live. And I have double checked you are on my headphones.
So I am broadcasting my voice, which I can
I
see an audio waveform of. So I
you
think it's
guys
on your receiving end.
here. Yay. All right. Let me try this. Talk to me again, Steve.
How about now?
Nope. Got nothing. So I'm going to turn you back on in Discord.
Okay.
But I think that means you got to not talk in Discord.
Well, I'll mute my mic.
Okay. If you're going to sniff. All right. So I was just, I just did, oh, I didn't do a chapter mark. This is going to be, I'm just going to have, what the heck? There we go. PBS. All right. It's just going to be a thing there because I don't have the link for it. All right. We'll call this something. Allison on 15. Okay. I didn't hear your answer, Steve. Unmute yourself. Do you think I should do a chapter mark for each person?
I do, unless that's going to send you around the bin.
It'll take longer. I think I'll try it.
All right.
All right. Go ahead and mute yourself. Before I play all of the wonderful listener contributions, I want to take just a moment to share a bit myself on this 15-year anniversary. You know, I've thought a lot about what to say about the show and what it means to me, but it's really hard. It's hard because I can either go through every single little detail, like, hey, remember when I got rid of the stock teal theme on the website and I changed to the new one? Or who can forget when I changed web host? That was fun, right? Or I can simply say, wow, that whole time, that was fun. It was hard, so I decided to just talk about two things that had the biggest impact on me over the last 15 years. I think the single biggest change in 15 years was when we started doing the live show. Even though 98% of you have never come to a live show, its existence has affected you. Because of the live show, I started to get real-time feedback as I was doing the recordings. Instead of me speaking alone into a mic, I had an audience. I knew you were always out there, but with the live show, it feels like an audience. My stories are more interesting, my enthusiasm is more pronounced, and my angst about bad products or services is perhaps more theatrical. But the main thing is that it's 100 times more fun to do the show because of the weirdos who do show up. I'm looking at you, Frank. Anyway, sometimes I take it for granted, and then for some technical or scheduling problem, I have to do the show on my own, and I realize how lonely it used to be. The other big effect that I love about the live show is that it really brought Steve more into the show. Or should I call him Husband Steve? I thought he was just going to take over the heavy lifting of the show's production, and I never realized that so many people would become his lifelong friends as well. He's the love of my life, and for you to appreciate him makes it all the more better. So, if you don't go to the live show, know that the recorded show is better because of it. The second thing is, I know that the show today would not be what it is today without Bart Busschots. It's not just that we wouldn't be as safe in our computing lives and so well educated in security. It's not just that he took a budding desire of mine to learn to program and turned me and many others into full-fledged programmers. It's not that he put in thousands of hours writing documentation for us in both fields. It's that this man, whom I've only met once in my life, became one of my very dearest friends. We chat constantly in text messages. We get together well before recording. We talk about everything from exercise to the latest episode of Deep Space Nine to our family and to our work. People in meat space have tried to convince me that online relationships aren't real. And to that, I say phooey. My life is richer because of Bart's contributions to you. When Steve and I asked for audio clips about how you felt about the show, we had no idea how many we would get and how they would warm our hearts with the kind messages and make us laugh with the snarky comments. You're going to hear a lot about never missing a show in 15 years. And because honesty and specificity in this matters to me, I need to slightly correct that. The first show was on May 13th, 2005. I did 4 shows and I stopped for exactly 4 weeks. And then I started up again on July 5th, 2005, after someone who goes by the name of Jumbo Shrimp said, "Hey, where's the podcast?" From that date, I haven't missed a show, but we won't quibble about that from here on out. It's time to hear from you. And where else to start but with the head weirdo, Frank Petrie. All right.
Uh-oh. I've been saying
What?
15 continuous years.
I know. So
Close
is everybody
enough.
else.
Close enough.
Okay.
What's 4 weeks out of 15?
Exactly. Okay, come on.
So we're starting off with you, Frank.
All right. Frank Petrie.
So Ian is asking, who is Jumbo Shrimp?
He's a
listener.
Oh, what is his real name?
I'll look him up. I got him.
No, I know him. I can do it. Neil.
Neil.
His name is Neil, and I don't think he listens anymore. I talk to him still every 5 years or so, or every 100. I say something about him. So, all right, we got to keep moving, Steve.
Let's do it.
You. And where else to start but with the head weirdo, Frank Petrie.
Congratulations, Allison, on the NosillaCast's 15th anniversary. What attracts me most to the podcast is that you're informative, entertaining, and well over 4 foot.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Well
there.
over 4 foot.
Okay.
Entertaining and well over 4 foot.
Yeah. So I don't always understand what Frank's talking about, but he's a swell guy. Okay. Dorothy is next. All right. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. But he's a swell guy.
Hello, this is Dorothy, also known as Mac Lurker. I wanted to say congratulations to Allison and Steve for reaching a great milestone. Thanks to you, we've enjoyed 15 years of Apple Tech Talk without interruption. That is quite the achievement. Not only the podcast, but creating the NosillaCast community and including just about anyone, including those Android guys. Thank you, Allison and Steve, for creating and preserving this special community. I would certainly be a smaller person without it. Congratulations on maintaining the same high standards for 15 years. Keep it up. I can't get enough.
Yay! All right, let me record a little bit here.
Congratulations on maintaining the same high standards for 15 years. Keep it up. I can't get enough.
Well, I love that from Dorothy because she knows how easily my head gets swole up. So if she took the risk of making me feel good, she must have really meant it. All right. Terry Austin is next. And I am going to try a little different thing here. So you don't have to hear everything twice. I think I can do this like this.
Hi there, this is Professor Terry Austin, and I'd like to take just a few moments to acknowledge the 15-year anniversary of Podfeet. In keeping with a fine tradition, let's start with a problem to be solved. The problem. Back in 2008, there's this Windows power user who's absolutely sick of Windows and needs some guidance getting used to his new Mac. So I started a hard target search looking for podcasts with an ever so slight Apple bias. Of course, I found Allison along with a few other podcasters who were there to help me get quickly up to speed on my new platform. I'm a science professor whose classroom has always been tech heavy. On a website where students can rate their professors, one student commented way back in 2004 that, quote, "This guy's got enough technology to run the Mars rover from his classroom." So,
I'm actually going to skip ahead on this one if you guys don't mind. That was the denoised version, Steve. It still sounded pretty noisy to me.
Did it?
It didn't sound noisy to you guys?
No, I guess I'm getting some delay on you now.
Maybe I can max headroom and shake it loose.
No, there. It just caught up. Good. That's all it takes. Shake your head whenever whenever we see the delay.
There you go. Okay, I'm going to record now.
It's been a blast, and I look forward to all the years to come with Allison, Steve, and all of the castaways.
Well, I like how Terry described everything that he has learned from me and the rest of you on the show, because when I hear that, all I can think of is the people I learn from. So knowing that people like Terry pass along their knowledge to their friends, it makes me happy to be part of this big chain of happiness. I also want to point out that Terry made not just the Chit Chat Across the Pond logo, he also drew the little feet that are on my signature. If you've ever written to me, you would have seen those. All right. Barry Folk. I think I'm going to do this. We have these all numbered, color coded. I also used Otter.ai to transcribe them all. All right, here we go. That's weird. You're not talking, but I can hear you through the door.
I had muted myself on my mic. How about now?
Okay. Yes.
Are you going to mention the funny thing you ran into in the transcriptions? Or is that later?
I think I'm going to talk about that next week, actually.
Got it.
I can. I started recording all the different ways that Otter.ai transcribed the word NosillaCast. It's pretty funny.
It never did get it right, as I recall.
No, and it's supposed to learn in theory, but I don't think it did. Here we go.
Hi, Allison and Steve. This is Barry from Chicago. I wanted to pass along my huge thanks and appreciation for everything you've done and created in the last 15 years. It's always a pleasure listening to your show, from the interviews to the biweekly security updates with Bart. We often talk about community. You two are truly the foundation that makes it so wonderful. Your spirit, thoughtfulness, and charm are amazing. Cheers to both of you.
Well, Barry has done more than anyone I know to help keep the Apple community alive and thriving. So thank you for that, Barry. Next up, let's hear from Trevor Drover from Australia. All righty. And so that would be a chapter marker for, luckily I don't have to do any links, because these are all in here. All right. Next up, let's hear from Trevor Drover from Australia.
Congratulations, Alison, for your dedication to the ever so slightly Apple-biased community. 15 years of continual podcasts is a great achievement. I first discovered an exciting and enthusiastic Alison doing guest spots on the late Tim Verporten's Mac Review Cast. That was more than 10 years ago. Those short sessions were not enough, so I subscribed to the NosillaCasts and have been a faithful listener and occasional contributor since. When Alison came to Australia for a MacMania cruise in November 2012, I could not pass up the opportunity to drive to Sydney for the night to meet Alison and Steve in person. I was also fortunate enough to spend the evening with Rose Matthews, Doug Ingram, Alistair Jenks, Stephen Summer, Don McAllister, and G. MacDonald. All fantastic people, naturally, as we were all part of Alison's extended family. Thank you, Alison, for all that you do for us.
I like that one.
Those short sessions were not enough, so I subscribed to...
Boy, I think I'm getting delays here. Why is my CPU so high? It is, shockingly, Google Chrome, Steve, 489%.
Yeah, we're getting some delays in Max Headroom.
512%.
Yeah, you're quite a bit delayed.
Yeah.
Audio's fine, it's the video.
Yeah, Chrome is eating me alive. There's nothing I can do. It is the only thing doing it, and it has really gone. It's spiking.
Okay, you're catching up now. So it
yeah, it's spiking while I'm playing back, Steve. I'm going to show you guys a screenshot here.
I'm gonna go full screen.
It goes down as no. I'll just put it in the chat room. See those spikes? That's when I'm doing playback. Not when I'm recording, but when I'm doing playback. That is really weird. That That would make you think it had something to do with looks like my hair. Why do you think we're wearing hats? All right. Okay, let me do this here.
Thank you, Alison, for all that you do for us.
Well, thank you so much for mentioning Tim Verporten, Trevor. I sure owe a lot to him for not just giving me the voice to a bigger audience, but as a friend that we were lucky to know. Now, Trevor left out one bit of his story of meeting us in Australia. After the big meetup where we met, there was a knock at our hotel room door. It was Trevor bringing us a fabulous bottle of red wine. How could we not become friends for life? The next recording is from Ed Tobias. Some people introduced themselves and some didn't. Is Ed in the house?
I don't see Ed. I think he was
Okay,
Mr. Ed last week.
Yeah, he's usually in here. Ed, are you here? His recording is great. I'm looking at the time though. I'm nervous about playing too many of these. Let's give it a play though. The next recording is from Ed Tobias.
It just occurred to me that I've been listening to your show for almost a quarter of my life. And I'm older than you are, so that means you've been doing it longer than that, percentage-wise. When I first started listening to your podcast almost 15 years ago, I thought your voice sounded familiar. And then your name sounded familiar. And then you mentioned your husband Steve, and that just clinched it. I know her. I used to work with her and her husband Steve back in the 80s. It certainly is a very small world. Since that time,
Okay, I'm actually gonna stop him there. I just thought that was hilarious. I did not know that he didn't know who we were at first. All right.
I look forward to the next 15 years and to our next cup of coffee, and I will certainly stay subscribed.
Well, I love this recording because I actually had no idea that Ed had listened long before he realized that he knew me. We do sure have a lot of fun talking programming, all because of Bart. And you're right, it is like getting another college degree when you listen to Bart. Well, here's Joe Duganzik with his story of becoming a castaway. Joe is in the house. Here you go, Joe. Thank you, Kevin. I should probably do that. Well, here's Joe Duganzik with his story of becoming a castaway.
Well, hey, Allison and Steve. Before I launch into my little story here that has to be less than 99 and 6/13 seconds, congratulations on 15 years of NosillaCast and Potfeet. That's certainly something. I'll admit that I didn't know Allison and Steve at all, really. I'd seen Allison on the Twit network, I think on MacBreak Weekly, and then happened to run into her. Maybe it was fate, who knows, at CES 2017 at the Elgato smart home booth. And I was like, I've got to go say hi to her. I recognize her face, but I didn't remember her name. So anyways, 30 seconds of conversation, exchanged business cards, and then I started making some appearances and started to make some content for NosillaCast and Potfeet, and I think it was Chit Chat Across the Pond. And Allison has graciously appeared on the show that I used to run, Smarter Home Life, and it's blossomed into one of those friendships that I don't know, Allison and Steve, they're just great people. And you feel like after a few minutes, you seem to have known them for many, many years when it's just been a short while. Anyways, the digital things that I've done in the media world have only lasted about 5 years or so. And so 15 years, that's an accomplishment. I mean, that's a huge commitment of time. Allison, you've somehow convinced Steve to help you, I think, throughout the entire process. And that's a huge commitment of his time, too.
I'm going to keep playing, but I'm going to hit record here.
And you guys work well together, obviously. Is this 99 seconds? Maybe I'm a little bit over. Anyways, cheers to you guys and to 15 years of NosillaCast and Potfeet. And here's to 15 more.
Well, I like this a lot, and I'm surprised that Joe didn't mention something here. You never know the consequences of what happens in a podcast and then what happens in real life. Him running into us in the Elgato booth at CES, ended up with him getting tricked into going horseback riding with us in Arizona. I started to launch photos to look for a picture of him on a horse but then I looked at my processors and said maybe that was a bad idea.
Let's avoid that. That was a
Yeah,
lot
I don't
of
know.
fun, Joe. We enjoyed that.
It was. I have a good picture of him with a look of terror on his face. So, like, what has she gotten me into?
Only
let's
at
see.
99
Okay.
and 6/13 seconds. I think you used your time wisely, Joe.
All right. It is time for Big in Virginia.
Wingman.
All right, here we go. Horseback riding with us in Arizona.
Hello, Steve, Allison, and the rest of the NosillaCast castaways. It's Kevin here.
Sorry, I'm going to cut that little click off at the beginning.
Hello, Steve, Allison, and the rest of the NosillaCast castaways. It's Kevin here, aka Steve's Wingman and Big in Virginia to a lot of people. I just wanted to record a huge congratulations to Allison for reaching such a colossal milestone with the podcast. 15 years is an amazing milestone for almost anything, especially in podcasting. I am so lucky to have found this wonderful show and being able to listen to it every week and all the great work Allison puts into it. The product reviews and recommendations have helped me so much, not to mention cost me a few dollars along the way, gladly and happily spent based on the wonderful information I received. Also, when talking about the podcast, we can't forget the supporting cast, like Bart with his amazing contributions to the show related to security and programming work. Well done, Bart. And of course, certainly, I can't forget my wingman, Steve. The real driving force behind the show is only he and I know. I have to protect him and deflect the spears and arrows that Allison hurls at him during the show in the chat room. Ah, yes, the chat room. I've made so many amazing friends there that should I try to mention them all, it would take up an entire episode of the show itself. So a big thank you to all my friends there, and I really do truly appreciate each and every one of you. Well, I guess that's it. Just remember, as always, if you need excellent product reviews and interesting takes on what's happening in the technology world, be sure to listen to the NosillaCast. And again, Allison and Steve, a huge congratulations, my friends. And thank you for allowing me to be a very small part of this amazing podcast for more years than I can count now.
Apparently, Kevin can only count to 15. You guys would get that.
You are definitely
I can't be
right
that mean to everybody else.
You're definitely right about the video when you play back. I'm not sure, and your processors are getting hit at that time, right?
Yeah, I wonder. What if I turned off NDI? That would leave your video up.
Right. We wouldn't see.
You wouldn't see the. Yeah, but that's not that interesting, right?
I guess, but it's the only way I can get off the screen.
Yeah, that's too bad. More Steve, right? Okay, I'm going to try quitting NDI. I'm just curious to see if that has anything, because that's me broadcasting that video. Yeah, it's still there, but switch back to you, Steve.
When you, I can.
Oh, there we go. All right, let's just see what happens. Let me do a little bit here, and then I'll play back. Sandy's up next. Now, I could make a snarky crack about the fact that Kevin can't count to 15, but I won't because I'm being nice tonight. Anyway, Kevin himself is one of the driving forces of the live chat room and one of the reasons we feel so strongly about the community there. He does give me a hard time, but even I have to admit that Steve needs protecting from time to time. But let's hear the other side of that story. You know, we had to put Sandy right after Kevin, right? I can hear you typing.
Oh, I didn't mute.
That's okay. I can deal with it. I can deal. I'm fine.
Oh, Rose made it.
Rose! Yay! It wouldn't be the live chat room without Rose.
No.
The other side of that story.
Hello, I'm Sandy, and I'm a Nosilla castaway. I'm wishing.
Sorry, doesn't that kind of sound like, hi, I'm Sandy, I'm an alcoholic? Sorry, Sandy, I just heard it.
A little apologetic. I think it was meant in pride.
Being a Nosilla castaway is like, well, anyway. Okay, let's hear that again.
Hello, I'm Sandy, and I'm a Nosilla castaway. I'm wishing Allison and Steve huge congratulations on the 15th anniversary of the NosillaCast podcast. I can't really remember when I began listening to the NosillaCast. I think that it was around the time when I bought my first iPhone, which was in the summer of 2010. One of the things I heard and that made me think that I was destined to enjoy the podcast was that Allison and Steve share a birthday both with each other and with my own daughter, whose name just happens to be Allison, too. Somehow that little bit of trivia caught my attention, and I kept listening and enjoying what I was hearing. Several years later, I finally gathered my courage and joined the Nosilla castaways in the live chat room during the recording of the podcast. And I immediately felt so welcomed that I've gone back each week, despite the fact that I'm not as knowledgeable in tech as many of the group. One of my main jobs in the chat room is to keep Kevin in line so he doesn't make fun of Allison, or not too much fun, at least. My most memorable moment was making an audio review for the show, during which there was some sort of glitch resulting in a loud honking noise. Yikes. Someday I hope to live that one down. In the meantime, congratulations again on a wonderful podcast and 15 years of it. Thank you.
Yay.
Good one.
So was that any better Max Headroom-ish?
No. Same Max Headroom.
Really?
You're not caught up yet.
Really?
Yep. Nothing to do with NDI. That was nice inputs from our wingman and wingwoman. Thank you.
It was. Now I feel bad for being funny. Okay. Do you want NDI back then?
Yeah, let's turn it back on.
Oh, I just got a bunch of breakup. Steve doesn't like to be seen sometimes.
Most of the time. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Now you can see why Steve has his wingman Kevin, but I needed Sandy to take on the important role of wingwoman. In all seriousness, it was such a great delight for Steve and me to get to meet Sandy when we went to CES. I don't know if you realize this, but Sandy also often proofreads my blog posts. For some reason, I can see typos in anyone else's written text a mile away, but in my own writing, all mistakes are invisible. So you have things. Okay, so you think that's good. Just mispronounce your name. So you have Sandy. So you have campaign's kicking in. You have Sandy to thank for the improved quality of the blog posts for the last few years. All right. Andrew Darlow sent his in this morning. That is last minute. So did someone else in the chat room. No, I would totally never name names. He or she could confess. You're muted, by the way.
They don't need to.
No. All right. Past few years.
Hi, Allison. Andrew Darlow here from the great state of New Jersey, and just wanted to send you and Steve a big 15-year congratulations for all that you've done on the NosillaCast, plus your amazing interviews that you do at CES, and so much more. And thank you to all the castaways who provide fantastic tips. I'm going to have at least one for you very soon. So here's to another 15 years and more. Bye-bye.
Sorry, I'm busy pouring champagne for Steve right now. I can't do any work. I knew as soon as he saw me filling mine, he'd come running around the corner.
How did you know?
Just all right. So Rose didn't get to see us cheers earlier, Steve. We could cheers for Rose being here. Cheers. Steve? There you go. All right. Okay.
And more. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you, Andrew. I cannot wait to hear your tip. All right. Next, we have a little missive from Tom Merritt. This one is great. You know, it's not that bad to put in chapter marks when all you have to do is put in the words. All the copy, paste.
It's the links that are more challenging.
Yeah. Well, putting in 3 things, yeah. Missive from Tom Merritt.
Allison likes to tell the story of how we first met.
Actually, I'm going to move that out a little bit. That was a little abrupt. Little missive from Tom Merritt.
Allison likes to tell the story of how we first met at a podcast conference when she mistook me for someone else. And I gave her a dirty look because I didn't understand what she was saying. But I prefer to think of our acquaintanceship and subsequent friendship beginning in 2009 when Allison first sent me a useful tip, because I think that's what characterizes Allison. It was October 29th, 2009, when I published the results of that tip. You see, the thing that I was trying to solve was being able to plug in my Verizon MiFi, one of those little things that you carry around and you can share your Wi-Fi, your data connection with other people. At the time, if you used the USB cable that came with the MiFi and plugged it into your laptop to charge, it would see it as a modem, and then you couldn't share the Wi-Fi anymore. In fact, I was trying to solve a particular problem caused by that in the CNET video that I shot in October 2009. Here it is. I ran into this issue at an airport when I wanted to charge the MiFi and share it with my colleague, but I couldn't find an extra electrical outlet. Thanks to Allison Sheridan at the NosillaCast podcast for the solution. That would be the NosillaCast podcast and Allison Sheridan. Hey, I finally learned how to pronounce it. It only took from 2009 to 2020. But yeah, that tip has turned into something useful for me over the years. It introduced me to that idea of the cable that didn't carry data. And that is a valuable thing to have with you if you're plugging into unknown USB ports and need to charge a phone, but you don't want to risk getting hacked. So thank you, Allison, for that. Thank you for 15 years of NosillaCast and Podfeet, and congratulations.
Aw, I like that one a lot. All right, let me record a little bit here. I still can't believe that he remembered that.
And congratulations.
Aw, thanks, Tom. Well, the thing I admire the most about Tom is how he always gives people credit for their contributions and how he can recall their names even years later. I clearly remember my absolute delight when he not only used my tip, but gave me credit by name and showed my website. That's when I realized the power of publicly giving people credit. Now, if he could just teach me how to remember people's names, that would be awesome. Right, Rod Simmons. Up to 11.
I didn't know it went to 11.
Yeah. Getting hot in here. All right, let me play. Oh, actually. Rod Simmons. What is that? Max Headroom? Oh, do you have a video of it? Oh, wow. That's crazy, Alistair. Okay. How to remember people's names. That would be awesome.
Hey, Allison. This is Rod Simmons with the SMR Podcast. Wanted to say congratulations to you on your crystal anniversary, 15 years recording the NosillaCast podcast. If I'm correct, I started listening to you back around the time that Tiger came out, because that's when they went to the Intel platform, and I've been listening to you all the way through Tiger, Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, Mountain Lion, Maverick, Yosemite, El Capitan, Sierra, High Sierra, Mojave, and Catalina. And I'm hoping I got that order right because this is a Mac podcast. So if I miss something, I feel like a jerk. Congratulations again, and keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Was he right? Did he get the order right? Tiger King. Nice, Jill.
I think he did.
I think so. Right. Here we go. I I had no idea Rod had been listening that long, and I have to say, I have no idea whether he got the tigers and lions and all that in the right order. Sounded right to me. You know, Rod and his buddies Chris and Rob from the SMR podcast being our friends is yet another example of how our life has gotten so much larger because of the podcast. Okay, let's listen to Norbert Frasa next. All right. Norbert. I think Norbert's in the chat room, isn't he?
I believe he is.
Norbert only has one flaw.
Too nice.
The friends he keeps.
I know where you're going with that.
Okay. To Norbert Frasa next.
First of all, big, huge, bombastic congratulations to Allison and Steve for celebrating 15 years of the NosillaCast. That's a major accomplishment, and I'm so happy for you both. Well, you asked for listeners to tell you how they came to the podcast. I know I've already shared the story with you, but I thought the rest of the castaways would like to hear it too. The story actually begins when Tom Merritt transitioned his podcast, Tech News Today, to his current show, Daily Tech News Show. Tom uses a subreddit forum where listeners are able to submit stories they found interesting for the show. Well, one of the most prolific posters was a listener by the name of S.P. Sheridan. After a few shows, there was another podcaster as a guest on Tom's show by the name of Allison Sheridan. I thought to myself, I wonder if Allison knows who this S.P. Sheridan is. Well, I enjoyed how she covered the news in an entertaining way, so I added the NosillaCast to my podcast app, and the rest is history. Well, lo and behold, after listening to the NosillaCast for a few episodes, I was finally able to deduce the connection. The NosillaCast has actually been a gateway to other fantastic things. Through the show, I have been introduced to the awesomeness that is Bart, other castaways that I've met in person throughout the years and online, and even Allison's arch nemesis, Chuck Joyner. I have to admit that I've been an extra super lucky castaway to have been able to spend some quality time with Steve and Allison during a couple of Max Docs and CESs through the years. I can truly say that they are both class acts, and in addition to talking tech when they are with you, they also try to get to know you as a person, and I really appreciate that. So back to the point at hand. A big, hearty congratulations to Allison and Steve on your accomplishment. I'm so happy to be in your tech circle. I look forward to the next 15 years of the show, at which point it'll probably be transmitted via hologram, I'm sure. Again, congratulations.
That was nice.
Congratulations.
You know, I'm kind of getting used to this Max Headroom effect. It's like we couldn't produce it better than this.
Really?
It's kind of entertaining.
So does it stop as soon as the audio recording stops?
It takes a few seconds to catch up. You're not quite caught up yet. And now you are.
That seems to fix it.
Just about almost caught up.
That's what it looks like anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why would playback or just playback of audio be doing
using
it?
The same, the app hasn't changed.
Haven't changed anything. Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I'm so glad that Norbert told the story again because I'd totally forgotten about that. Now, there's another funny tidbit about the story of Tom and the subredditor in question. Tom had been pronouncing his name Esperidan and had not made the connection that it was Esperidan, something like that. Anyway, that's why you couldn't tell that it was a connection to me. Tom had a really good laugh when he made the connection. You know what? Norbert is what Steve simply calls good people, even if he is friends with Chuck. All right. Is Dave Ginsburg here?
Dave is here.
Right. Ginsburg. My right eye is tearing up. I'm not crying. I swear. I'm not crying. You're crying.
It's okay to get a little emotional. 15 years. You want a Kleenex? Oh, you got one.
I have one. All right. There we go. Chuck.
Hi, Allison. It's Dave Ginsburg here. Just wanted to wish you a wonderful 15th anniversary of your podcast. That is just an awesome milestone. I wish I had been listening earlier at the time we started, but I did catch up towards the end there and really enjoy listening to all the shows you do and all the contributions you give to the community. It was great though when I first met you at MacStock back 15, and you welcomed me in open arms, just like you and Chuck, and got me under the podcast fold and gave me the podcast itch on my podcast, and I really appreciate you being on my show as well. But I look forward to more continued success with your podcast and all the great content you provide, and best wishes for many, many years to come. Thanks.
Very nice.
Many, many years to come. Thanks.
You know, Dave mentions MacStock, and when things really get back on the rails, I hope you'll take Dave's story as a testimonial about why you should go. The only bad part, as Dave mentions, is of course meeting Chuck Joyner, but you know, they can't all be winners, right? Speaking of MacStock, I love Jason Harris's story. Here's Jason. Jason Harris. Jason is Dudley, just so you know. And Harris's story.
I met Allison at my first MacStock in 2018. I don't remember what one of her podcasts I was listening to before meeting her. What I do remember and will cherish forever is that she and Steve sat down at my table at MacStock when they noticed I was sitting by myself for one of the meals there. I listen to all of Allison's podcasts now, except Programming by Stealth. Maybe one of these days I will decide to program and start listening to that one. I do appreciate both Allison and Steve. I love you guys.
That was great. I like that. All right, let me cut this off. I'm down here. Okay. I think that sounds good. Let's see.
Both Allison and Steve. I love you guys.
All right, well, say MacStock, right? It's awesome. When it's back, you need to be there. You know, Jason wouldn't lie to you. Well, next up, we're going to hear from Klaus Wolf from Germany. All right, so we've got, whoops, thought I stopped.
How are we doing on the order here?
We are at a 14.
Okay, we're making pretty good. It's 5:49.
Yeah. Oh, geez, it's 5:49.
Maybe not.
And you want me to play your entire thing, and it's 10 minutes.
Maybe you don't have to play the whole thing. Maybe the beginning and the end.
Yeah, might need to be. All right, I might not play all of Klaus. From Germany.
Dear Allison and Steve, congratulations on 15 years of NosillaCast podcast. I don't quite remember when I first started listening to you, but it must have been sometime in 2005. I had just acquired my first Mac and fell in love with the machine.
Okay, jump to the end here. So in here, he talks about how we climbed the Hollywood sign together. All right.
Podcast.
Oh, I got to play that. This is his whole family saying, congratulations on the podcast. Thank you for the podcast in German.
For all you do, and I look forward to many more years of listening to your podcast.
Danke für den Podcast.
I love that, having his whole family say thank you for the podcast in German, of course. I do have a funny story about Klaus. You know, the first time he came to the U.S., he asked us if we'd like to go hiking with him, specifically, as he mentions, to see the Hollywood sign. The reason that's funny is that Steve and I had both lived here for around 45 years. We had never hiked the Hollywood sign. Years later, Pat's cousins were visiting from France. So what could we do? We took them hiking to see the Hollywood sign. When Marianne was here, we took her to see it too, though not through hiking. So our thing now is if you come here from a foreign country, and only from a foreign country, we will make you hike the Hollywood sign with us. Right.
Norbert pulled up the photo. Actually, I'm not sure it's the same one you were looking at, but it's pretty good.
No, it isn't, but
Tom
yeah.
and Adam. That's good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good comparison. I can pull the photo.
I think they look much less similar today, but back then they were pretty similar.
Yeah, but does Podfeet know? Nope, no idea. All right, let's see. And now let's hear from Mike Westbay. Wait a minute, Michael Westbay, right? Michael Westbay. I want to get this right because it's Mike I met Grumpy and West Bay Stars in the same week, and it's Mike Price and Michael West Bay. All right, here we go. Is he still here? Did he go to sleep? No, he's still here. All right. Next up, let's hear from Michael West Bay, who lives in Japan. You're international, like crazy here. And whoops, cancel. What's wrong with you? That is not it. This one. All right. Bay, who lives in Japan.
Hi, Allison, Steve, and Nozilla castaways from around the world. I'm probably the newest cast member, but I had heard Allison on DPNS often over the past few years. Question about Catalina from my daughter prompted me to finally take a look at podfeet.com. I had heard that everything good begins there. Anyway, I sent a link to my daughter for the Go64 Will Help You Triage 32-bit apps. That was a very handy review, and having gone over it on DPNS recently, had it in mind. I now had a new subscription in my podcatcher. Other than Allison's wonderful way of describing the world, two people stood out, Bart and Kaylee. I was just getting into JavaScript programming again via Node.js, and Bart explained a lot of the new notations I had been observing wonderfully. It actually made me excited about diving into JavaScript again. Then Allison's interactions with Kaylee had me doing a double take with what I thought I was hearing. Did she just slip some Japanese words into that sentence? Oh, Kaylee was delightful to listen to. I then listened to her entire Zettai Geek Dayo lineup over December and January. I keep trying to get John Gibson on the Japan Baseball Weekly podcast to throw in some Japanese words every now and then, but he has a very strict policy against it. Maybe if he listens to Kaylee a bit. Well, I may be new to the community, but I'm really enjoying it on Discord and Slack. Community is important, be it online or in real life. While I've only been participating for a couple of months, I look forward to many more anniversaries. Congratulations and take care.
What a great contribution.
Congratulations and take care.
Oh, I love that, Michael. It's so interesting to me how many people, like Michael says, just fit right into the community immediately. That's exactly what Sandy said she felt like everybody was already her friends when she got there, and that they feel like home right away because people are so nice here. All right. We can't do anything but follow that with Kaylee.
We must.
Nothing you can do. Wait a minute. Oh, I forgot to put a chapter mark on Mike. Michael. Stop saying Mike. I thought about doing these ahead of time. I can't for reasons that are annoying. I could put them in, but they'd all be at the beginning. Come on, stop it. Wait a minute. Hang on. This is entitled Always Carry the One.
Oh, this is Kaylee, yes.
Here we go. Nice here.
Yahoo, Katie there, yo. And I definitely want to wish Allison a happy podcasting anniversary. 5 whole years of the NosillaCast, huh? What an incredible what? What do you mean carry the one? No, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, podcasting hasn't even been around that long. Didn't Spotify invent it? And besides, it's named after the AirPods, right? What do you mean go watch those people dancing with the white headphones again? I don't know. Anyway, congratulations on 6 whole years of podcasting. See, I carried the one just like you asked. I look forward to someday being in the same time zone as you. We'll ride around on our electric bicycles and chat about JavaScript, phone plans, Apple products, and all kinds of fun stuff, all at a reasonable time of day. After all, if there's one thing I know about you, it's that you're definitely a geek. Omedetou! And until next time, 以上、Katie でした。バイバイ
All right, what do I say about that?
以上、Katie でした。バイバイ
Only you, Kaylee. Only you. All right, Shelley Brisbane is up next. Isn't that great? I love Kaylee.
And I like how she
slay's
folded
me.
in the whole math thing, which seems to be an underlying kind of dark theme behind your podcast.
We'll call it a little private joke amongst everybody,
Got
right?
it. Yes, she knows it.
And I think you're gonna have to count chapter marks for me when we're done, just so you know. Ellie Brisbane is up next.
Well. 15 years of NosillaCast. There's a whole lot of podcasts, a lot of dumb questions answered, a lot of stealthy programming, a lot of terminals tamed, a lot of videos from trade show floors, and a lot of problems solved. So I want to share how asking a very important question that I first heard on NosillaCast helped me with a real world work situation. I was in a meeting last week, virtual, of course, and there were 6 or 7 little faces on my computer screen, several of whom belong to people higher up in an organizational food chain than am I. And all of them were having brilliant ideas, little suggestions for how a project I'm working on could be better. So instead of getting defensive about them micromanaging my life, I decided to take a deep breath and ask a simple question. What's the problem to be solved? You know what? It stopped them cold. They didn't know what to say. And when they recovered themselves, they understood what I was asking. Oh, yeah, they seemed to say. We're not really solving a problem. We're just throwing stuff at the wall. Well, I like to think I got out of that situation and back to doing what I do because I asked that famous question that I learned from NosillaCast. This is Shelley Brisbane from Parallel and a whole bunch of other podcasts saying congratulations, Allison, Steve, and all the NosillaCastaways. It's been a great 15 years.
Yay! I love that one. One made me really happy. All right.
Are you ready for some dulcet tones?
Yes, but I got to.
Oh, you got to
say
say
a little
something.
something there first. Yeah.
Okay.
Great 15 years.
Well, it's so funny how useful that little phrase is. Shelley reminds me of a time I was on the board of a huge user group and I wasn't contributing. I really wasn't doing anything at all. I told the other board members they should get someone with more time to help out. Instead of letting me bail, they said they wanted me to stay because I seemed to have the knack of saying, "What problem are we trying to solve?" at just the right time. Take Shelley's advice and use that phrase wisely. Well, up next, I suspect you'll recognize the dulcet tones of Alistair Jenks. All right. Let's see. Alistair. Okay, we're on 17.
I wonder if people at work use that in describing Alistair's voice.
Dulcet tones?
Do they say that, Alistair?
I bet if you were around it all the time, you'd get used to it. It
probably would.
Cool accents too, but this was recorded in Hindenburg. No, I think he's serious.
Yeah,
using the Hindenburg tool. Oh, I should pick your brains.
No. Okay.
No, about the dulcet tones of Alistair Jenks.
It's Alistair Jenks here from New Zealand, offering my thoughts on the occasion of Alison's 15th anniversary of podcasting. For me, it has been about 11 and a half years of listening since October 2008. I thought for a long time about what I would like to say on this occasion. I thought about the countless times my interest has been piqued by something on one of the podcasts. I thought about how much fun it has been contributing my own work to the podcasts. The privilege of being trusted to produce the podcast on a few occasions. I thought about the incredible resource of the Podfeet website and associated social hangouts. I thought about our one-on-one conversations on Telegram about weird and wonderful topics from programming minutiae to hating on Apple support. But none of that will do to mark this occasion. The one thought I would like to express right now is that it was Alison who was responsible for my acceptance of the word friend for someone you've never actually met. I have been lucky enough to meet with Alison and Steve on 2 occasions, so technically they fall outside this definition, but I think in spirit it still applies. So thank you, Alison and Steve, for your friendship. Oh, and I suppose congratulations are also in order for getting at least one audio production out onto the internet every week for 15 years. Production out onto the
All right. Let's see.
production out onto the internet every week for 15 years.
I love what Alistair says about friends who have never met, and it's exactly what I was trying to express about my friendship with Bart. I socialize in real life with fewer than a dozen people on a regular basis, but I have far more friends I talk to at least weekly because of the podcast. My life is richer for having Alistair to bounce ideas across, to get advice, or just share a laugh. Yay, Mike Price is here. Good. All right, and Mike introduced himself, so I think I don't have to remember. Is it Mike or Michael? Try to get the name straight. I need Tom Merritt to help me here. He would know,
I think it's
and he would remember 10 years from now.
Fellow castaways, Mike Price from Attleboro, Massachusetts here. I wanted to chime in and offer Allison and Steve a great big congratulations on such a momentous accomplishment, and also to say thank you for all you do. I have not been here the whole time. I can't remember exactly how and when I found the NosillaCast, but it was back in the days when there was only one show per week, and the show had an ever so slight Macintosh bias. I have always found the wide array of topics covered and Allison's interviewing skills to be both entertaining and informative. Because of this show, I have set up my own VPN server, toyed with creating my own S-FIME certs using the now ostracized Start.com, purchased a few items based on various CES interviews, and been tempted by many, many more. Found other podcasts to follow, for example, Mac Power Users, and I have decided to learn JavaScript and soon PHP. And if the show's productions weren't enough, the community they have built and fostered both on Slack and the live show is amazing. This community is a collection of the nicest folks I think I have ever had the pleasure to come across, and that can only be a reflection of the kind of people who Allison and Steve are. So thank you and congratulations. Wishing you all the best in the next 15 years.
Aw. So nice. Stop. Okay, it won't stop. There we go. Did it stop? There we go. That was nice. Uh-oh. Parking what? All right, here we go.
15 years.
You know, after listening to Mike's wonderful recording, I immediately shot off a note to Donald Burr telling him that his chit chat, where he taught us how to create our own VPN server, was mentioned, and he was thrilled. You know, that was 7 years ago. I also thank you, Mike, for saying that the kindness of the community is a reflection of Steve and me. I like to think that you're right, because I know another podcaster who doesn't always put his kindest face forward, and he ends up with positively vicious comments and forums as a result, or I think that's a result. Now, I have to say, I'm not always the kindest person around, but I do try to always reflect positivity in the podcast, and it has paid off 1,000-fold in the kindness of the community. I'm so glad that you popped your head up to start joining in the live show. It's really been fun having you there. Mike also helped me with my programming homework. All right.
Good on you, Mike. Thank you.
Dean Elger. Right. I think I'm gonna skip ahead past Dean's. Lindsay, you'll wanna listen to Dean's. It's wonderful. Show. It's really been fun having you there.
Hi, I'm Dean Elger. My wife, Suzanne, and I met Steve and Allison in 2003 when we crashed their romantic dinner reservations at a French restaurant in Sedona, Arizona, when they were celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary.
And that's a true story.
Yes, it is.
And
we've become lifelong friends as a result.
And he actually he mentions the live chat room because you remember he's the guy that accidentally showed his master password
in
to
one,
the whole
one
audience.
password, master password.
He wanted to tell me something, and so he went outside the window of his own office. He went outside and held a piece of paper up with a note he had scribbled on
Because
it. But
you
the
were
note
recording with that as the background, the Arizona or the Utah background.
Yeah, I had the camera flipped around looking out his window.
Yes.
And so he held up a piece of paper that he had just grabbed any old piece of paper and he had scribbled this note on it and he put it up to the glass, only you could see through it because of the sun, and it had his master password. It was actually, I think technically it was his secret key, but luckily Kaylee posted in the chat room with like big circles around it going,
"What are you doing?
He's showing us his which was good because otherwise it would have been on YouTube and we took that video down.
And we quickly changed his master password and key and everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. So when I told the story of that happening, though, he told me to change his name. And so if you listen back to the episode where I explain it, I don't say it's Dean, but now you know it's Dean. All right, here we go.
Where for an hour a week, we all get to live.
This message is so dear to me. Dean and Suzanne have become lifelong friends, as he explained, but hearing his view of the podcast and the community that has grown around it warms my heart just a little bit more. Okay, this might be the funniest one. We're on the penultimate. Ken Ray gets to be. Come on. There we go.
Have you saved lately?
I've been saving a lot, I think. Heart just a little bit more.
macOS Ken Ray.
Oh, a little quick. Heart just a little bit more.
macOS Ken Ray here, host of Ken Ray's macOS Ken with Ken Ray, with a prepared message for the NosillaCast anniversary show. What can one say about Allison Sheridan? Well, according to this list of things that she's told me I can say, she's knowledgeable, she smells great, she's there at a moment's notice, provided you can give her a week to 10 days notice. Actually, 15 years of NosillaCast is pretty amazing. It's not just a show that you've produced, Allison, you've also fostered a community. When macOS Ken hit, I think it was 12 or 13 years old, somebody wrote to me and said, here's to 12 more. And on the one hand, I thought, only 12? And on the other hand, I thought, do you never want me to rest? So, here is to as many more years of NosillaCast as you want, Allison. And thanks for everything you've done.
Okay, so I think I know why he did that. Because I gave him a hard time that he'd have me on his show and he would never say who I was. So I make him introduce me every time. So now he sarcastically like over introduces me. So I think that's why he did that.
And himself.
Well, I think that's why he did that. That's what I mean. All right.
So I'm going to give you suggested spots to play on mine, the intro and
Okay, I'm not ready yet though.
Okay, finish up.
Give me a second here.
Thanks for everything you've done.
Well, I would like the record to show that only Ken was given a required list of what he was allowed to say. And thank you, Ken, for once, for coloring inside the lines. Okay, we have one final recording to play for the show, but I want to take a quick pledge break to thank Ryan Walden. Ryan went over to podfeed.com/Patreon and made an account and put his hard-earned money down to support the show on a weekly basis. This contribution tells me that he gets value out of the show and wants to give some value back. It would be swell if the podcast didn't cost me money, so contributions like Ryan's really help towards that goal. It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference if enough people contribute. As has always been true, if you simply cannot afford to make a contribution like this, do not feel guilty about it. The show will go on as long as I have a voice. Thank you again, Ryan. You rock. And now for our final contribution, don't forget, Security Bits is after this. All right. So, let me, actually, I'm going to put you in as husband, Steve. I can't believe you introduce yourself that way. Why do you?
I do that because you might get a listener who doesn't know who Steve is, first-time listener, you know. You want to make sure,
Okay,
there's
72 people have said Allison and Steve.
There are
okay, let me just
Steven's in the chat room. I mean,
there
you
you
gotta
go.
make sure everything's clear up front.
Okay, hang on. B-Bits is after this. Put you over a little bit there. Don't forget, Security Bits is after this.
Hi, Allison. This is husband Steve. I'd like to congratulate you on 15 continuous years of the NosillaCast. What an accomplishment.
Okay. Now do some direction. And realize you're going to have to give me math because I'm starting at about 45 minutes. So where do you want me to play next?
Okay. I think you should play through at least the first audio clip, because that's important to play back your first.
Oh, okay.
So
all right, here we
play
go.
my intro to the first audio clip, and then we'll go to the end.
Okay.
When you began your podcast adventure back on May 13th, 2005, neither of us had any idea where it would take us. Since then, you've produced a podcast every week like clockwork for 15 years. That's a rare feat in the podcasting community, and one of which you can be proud. Throughout this period, the NosillaCast community has grown up around you, providing their support, content for your show, and a lot of good times. To commemorate the event, I wanted to capture how your show has evolved over the years. It's been noted by a few people how you've updated your show's introduction quite a bit since beginning the NosillaCast. So I went back to the first NosillaCast episode and started listening to the introduction of your earlier and some of your later shows. Your tagline, and particularly your delivery of the word ever in a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias, has grown, shall we say, more enthusiastic over the years. What follows is an audio compilation of your show's introductions, noting this and some of the other changes your introduction underwent over time. The first 3 clips I selected are excerpts of your show's introduction, starting with the first NosillaCast in May 2005, followed by episode introductions from July and October of 2005.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan, and welcome to the Nosilla Podcast, or NosillaCast for short. NosillaCast is a chronicle of the technology news that I glean from sources such as the Wall Street Journal, using Walter Mossberg's Technology Journal, Leo Laporte's radio, TV, and books on technology. I like Wired Magazine as a good source. I read PC and Mac magazines and various technology podcasts. By the way, I'm calling this the NosillaCast because I'm dedicating it to my brother Kelly. My brother Kelly called me funny names, and he also believed that I could do absolutely anything. And I keep thinking of him when I thought I really want to do this, and I thought he would encourage me to do it. So I hope you tune in again, and today is May 13th, 2005. Welcome to the Nosilla.
Did I actually pause that long?
Yes,
Like
you
I
did.
didn't know what the date was?
I thought about cutting that out, but then I realized, no, we want to show what it was like in the beginning.
Well, and that even back then, I didn't know what the
Yeah.
date was, couldn't count the
You were-
episodes.
So if you can do this, I would like to capture the 3 snippets where you fine tune. No, where is it?
I don't know where. Tell me a time.
I don't have a time. I wanted to just play those 3 little
could
snippets.
sample.
It
How
should
far-
be identifiable in the audio waveform, where 3 little snippets.
You know, they don't look any different. I was
Okay.
looking at what you just played and I couldn't see
And
it.
you can't see the beep, the audio.
Tell me where to go. What? That might be a beep. Oh, wait.
Well, what'd you think of that snazzy new intro?
Okay, it's after that. So I wanted to get to the part
Okay.
where you fine tune the word ever. Too much.
Okay. I just don't know how to find it.
The clips show how your emphasis on the word ever
There we go.
evolved from March 2006 to March 2007. I like your more enthusiastic presentation much better.
A Technology Geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. A Technology Geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias. A Technology Geek podcast with an ever so slight Macintosh bias.
One of the ways you are able to produce a show every week for 15 presentation much. So that took 1 year for you to go from just the normal ever to the punched ever.
To
and
super
it's been that
drab
way
from-
since 1 year.
Ah.
Now I
Well,
recommend
that 1 year, that was many years ago.
that was in 2007.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 2007 from March 2006 to March 2007.
Okay.
So
Should
I
I'll
would recommend now,
play.
can you go to But Seriously? That's probably about 2 minutes or 3 minutes before the end.
2 minutes from the end?
3. Maybe 4.
Okay. You're asking me to do something that like visually see where you said something.
You can't see the words there in the audio waveform there.
Can you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
I have to say, I particularly enjoyed Bart's and Chris's emphasis on the.
How far? How much far?
About
there?
30 seconds.
Oh, come on. I don't have that kind of fidelity. Here.
NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com.
That's good. That's fine.
Is that it?
Yep.
A technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias.
With such dramatic changes over 15 years, it makes one wonder what your tagline may evolve to in the future. But seriously, your show has evolved in many ways other than your introduction, including adding listener contributions and reviews, Dumb Question Corner, Chit Chat Across the Pond, trade show video interviews, the live show with the NosillaCast chat room, the NosillaCast Facebook and Slack groups, and growing from the single NosillaCast to the collection of Podfeed podcasts. One of the most significant changes and a wise choice on your part was to include Bart as a significant presence on your shows. I went back to see when he came onto the scene and found Bart's original contribution to the NosillaCast was back in September of 2006, where he talked about the Synergy application. His submission to your 59th episode was revelatory when he wrote, "Hi, Allison. I use Synergy at work to link my Mac and my Linux box. And although I'm not at all afraid of the command line, I do like to avoid it when I can." Little did he or you know that 7 years later
I can't believe he said that.
He did. It's pretty amazing. When I went back and saw that, I had to capture that.
All right, people are starting to bail.
Well, at least play the end.
Well, okay. I will. How much more is there to go?
About 20 minutes. No.
Okay, I'll jump to here.
Listen, you and I consider many of the NosillaCast community members as friends, even though we haven't met them in real life. Take my wingman Kevin, whom we've never met in person, yet we both consider a dear friend. We've also traveled across the United States, the Atlantic, and the Pacific to meet some of these friends in person, like Bart. I know you've thoroughly enjoyed each one of these NosillaCast meetups as much as I have, and I also know you look forward to many more meetups wherever they may take us. I am so pleased you started and stayed with the NosillaCast, for without it, just think of the community and friendships we'd be missing. So again, Allison, congratulations on achieving 15 wonderful years of the NosillaCast. I'm extremely proud of what you've accomplished, and I'm very pleased to see the NosillaCastaways evolve into the thriving, kind, and supportive community that surrounds us today. That's it for now, and you can rest assured that I will stay subscribed, at least for another 15 years.
Very nice, Steve. I like it. I wonder if Kevin heard that. Hopefully he'll still hear it, because he just left. All right, here we go.
At least for another 15 years.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you to everyone who listens and participates and contributes in any way to the show. As husband Steve said, our lives are richer because of you. All right, security bits, and then Bart. So I'm just going to be assembling the show from here on out. If, I always like the company, but if it's a little late for you, I understand if you guys have lives to lead. I'm so glad you guys all came. I just love it, love it, love it. And I hope you enjoyed the homage to you guys that came out of all of these.
Yeah, this community there's none other like it.
Oh, I like what Shai just said. This was the first tech group I ever wanted to join.
Huh.
Oh, that's
Very
really
cool.
nice. Yeah, it's a family. Oh, Bart says something at the beginning of Security Bits about what it feels like to be here. And he talks about inclusivity, which I hadn't even thought about. And so it's really good to hear what he said as well. So I hope you guys will still listen. All right. Wait, what is this sound?
Blink.
I love that every time.
Yeah, and it just never gets old.
Yeah.
You know? that's Bart. All right. Oh my gosh, my eye is just tearing like crazy. I think I'm allergic to something in my office here in my den. It doesn't happen when I go downstairs.
Maybe it's the microphone.
That's Bart. That's me. I'm allergic to the microphone. Oh, that's not going to turn out well.
Yeah,
I thought about just telling everybody, okay, well, I'm out. I'm done.
15 years
so that would
and done.
That's enough. Don't you think?
Sure.
What more do you want from me, people? All right, let's see. I'm going to put me right about there, and I'll start Bart. Wait a minute, maybe there. Let's hear how that sounds. Richer because of you. What's that time of the week again? It's time for Security Bits with Bart Bouchat's. Right on the heels of all of this frivolity, we're going to buckle down and talk about security, Bart.
I guess so. But I want to, I just, it's amazing. 15 years. I just want to join in and say, thank you so much for building a community full of wonderful people. We've just spent quite some time listening to them all as people are listening to this, and I adore your community. I don't know of any other online community I like as much. The Nosilla Castaways are quite simply the best, and it's because you are the glue that holds us all together.
I'm sometimes referred to as that annoying woman talking in the corner of the live show, but I take your point and thank you. It is really cool. Oh, I'm going to jump ahead to what Bart says here because I want you guys
Well,
to.
right. There are very few online communities where you don't occasionally end up, at the very least, typing something and then hitting Command A backspace because you're cranky as old crankiness. But that doesn't happen in the Slack. It's
No,
a
there
lovely
aren't any
place.
trolls, and it's wide open too, right? I've
Yeah.
never closed the door on anybody coming in.
Yeah, so you
So,
attract all good people. It's also very inclusive. It's also very diverse. I have never
maybe
felt
that helps.
even vaguely judged for being, a pinko commie lefty gay foreigner.
You forgot socialist, right?
I forgot so. Well, pinko sort of covers that.
Yeah, okay, that's a good. Okay, that's the part I wanted you guys to hear.
That's pretty good.
Can't believe he said that. Okay, let's see. I think the end might be something good here.
Don't touch anything.
Oh, nope. Sometimes he says yay at the end.
To stay patched so you stay secure.
All right. It's kind of an uneven show because then we go off and talk about the horrible security stuff. All right, closing it out here. Here we go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that show. I certainly had fun, and the live show audience certainly had a lot of good times here. But that's going to have to wind us up for the celebratory week. Don't forget to send your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions, your audio recordings, your tips if you have them, by emailing me at allison@podfeet.com, and you can follow me on Twitter @podfeet. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. Want to become a Patreon? Go to podfeet.com/Patreon. Want to give a one-time donation through PayPal? Podfeet.com/PayPal. PayPal. That was good. Anyway, if you want to join our community, you can go to podfeet.com/Facebook or podfeet.com/Slack. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla Castaways you've been hearing so much about. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. There we go.
15 years. Good job.
I donate Chuck.
That woke up Tesla.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, can you give me a chapter marker count? And I will count what I have. So count. Forgot security bits. Oh man, that's gonna take me a while. So count security bits. And oh man.
And I think you had 2 or 3 beyond that. So you had PBS and security bits plus the interviews or the inputs, right?
Yeah. Wait a second. What is going on here? Oh, that's that. Okay.
I get 26.
26. Actually, is that just the interviews?
No, 24 interviews plus 2.
Okay, let me put this one in. We put that chapter mark in there, that thing in. All right. Let me scroll here. That is a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Is that what you said?
No, I said 26. Did you have 3? So there's
I
programming
said
by
PBS,
stealth.
Allison on 15, and Chit Chat.
Oh, Allison on 15 I did not count as a separate chapter.
Oh, my contribution doesn't count. Okay,
Oh.
I understand.
Boy, I missed that one.
Okay, that
So I
is
think
the
we're
most. Look at the timeline. Show this full screen.
Wow.
Hang on. No, I'm not even done yet. See, that is the most cuts I have ever done.
Did
Wrong
you save
answer,
recently?
Steve. I should, huh? That would really stink.
Yeah.
This one would be harder to reproduce than many. All right, I think I am done. I'm going to go find a couple of links, but I'm going to say goodbye to live audience. Thanks for coming. Those of you who are still left, love all you guys. Thanks for coming. Say goodbye, Steve.
Good night, Gracie. Good job, Podfeet.